Okay, so the little practice I'm going to take you through today is going to do a little bit of strengthening using 3 postures in particular. We're going to visit Warrior 2 a fair bit, a little bit of Exalted Warrior, as well as a little bit of Extended Triangle. So with any of these, there's sort of an unspoken expectation that if at any point you start to feel some discomforts or pain or a lot of strain, that you're just going to come out of it slowly. You're going to use a simpler version of the posture. And I will give you some ideas as I go about what that might look like. But to get started, we're going to start standing tall. Just find your center of balance. Shifting your weight back and forth on your feet. Distributing your weight between the 2 points on either side of the ball of the foot and the point in the center of the heel. Standing nice and tall, through the spine, neck long, head reaching for the ceiling. We're going to step into a wide-legged stance. Now, if you have not watched my previous video called Finding Your Wide-Legged Stance, I highly recommend you check that out. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but you do want to make sure you choose an appropriate stance so that you're not doing a lot of pelvic tilt. So we're just going to start to step wide and just pay attention to the low back and if your bum pops out behind you. So once you find a comfortable width, we're going to start by leaving the toes on the left foot pointing forward. We're going to lift the ball of the right foot, spin on the heel, put the foot down at a 45-degree angle. So at this point, your pelvis should still be square to the front of the room. Your hip should hopefully be able to turn out about 45 degrees without your whole body having to skew, okay? So we've gotten this far. We're now going to lift the ball of the foot again. We're going to continue to turn the toes. Now our body is going to go off a little bit on an angle, placing the ball of the foot back down on the ground, okay? So my pelvis and my rib cage and shoulders and face are all a little off to the corner here, okay? So this is the foundation stance for Warrior 2. And we're going to bring the arms out to the side, and you can exhale as you bend that front knee. Now, a couple things here. Watch that this knee doesn't just collapse inward, okay? We want to keep it pulled back gently. And the arms being out, if this is a lot for you, maybe you're dealing with some kind of a shoulder thing, a shoulder injury, you can either keep your hands on your hips. You can make your arms feel less heavy by bending at the elbows like this. And if having your arms up here is too much, you can bring the arms down like this, okay? But from here, we're going to, on our next inhale, bring the hands together overhead and straighten that front knee. Exhale to bend and lower the hands. Inhale to come back up. And you're just going to keep following your breath. Now, noticing that each time I bend and straighten the knee, I'm tracking it over my toes. I'm also keeping in mind that I am not charging forward with my torso when I bend the knee. My torso is staying stacked over my pelvis. Okay? So a couple more of these. Now the next time we inhale, we're going to keep the knee bent. We're going to let the left hand rest on the thigh, bring the right hand up towards the ceiling if that's comfortable for you, and you have the option of looking towards those fingers with your head and eyes. So we're just going to hold this for a moment. You can bring the arms back to the original Warrior 2 position. And let's straighten that knee for a moment. Bring it back to facing forward. Take a little bit of a break. You can come out of that. This gives us an opportunity to practice finding our wide-legged stance and a good, solid Warrior 2 foundation. So when you're ready, we're going to step it wide again. Okay. We're going to lift the ball of the right foot. We're going to spin the toes to the wall beside us. Pelvis goes with it a little bit. Drop the ball of the foot. Bend that knee. Now for extended side angle, there's some options. We're going to bring the left arm up. We're going to start to hinge over this right hip. Your right hand can rest on your thigh so that you're staying fairly upright. You can go a little further and have your forearm rest on your thigh. And if you're feeling particularly athletic, you can let your fingertips reach for the floor. Your fingertips can continue reaching for the ceiling. If you need to, you can bring them to your waist, or you can bring them alongside your ear. Well, you can bring your bicep alongside your ear. Okay, we're going to bring the arm back out, bring it to the hip, bring the forearm back up and hand back up to the thigh. Come out of that, straighten that knee, spin on the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot, sorry, and come back to our wide-legged stance. So from here, let's go to the other side. So we're going to lift the ball of the left foot. Right toes remain pointing forward. We're going to spin 45 degrees at the hip joint. Pelvis stays facing the front of the room. Keep going. Now is when the pelvis and torso follow. Slightly off on an angle. We're going to bring the arms up into Warrior Two or whatever modification you need. And we're going to exhale as we bend that left knee. You can look over your front arm. And when you're ready to your own breath, you can inhale the arms together, straightening that front knee, and exhale, lowering the arms, bending the knee. Doing whatever you need to do with the arms, like we talked about before. We'll do 2 more up and downs of this. Up. Exhale, down. Now the next time you inhale, the knee is going to remain bent. Right hand comes to the back of the right thigh. Bring the left fingertips towards the ceiling, looking up towards that hand if that's comfortable for you. We've got a little bit of back extension, a little bit of backside bending going on here. You can open the arms back to Warrior Two. Straighten that bent knee, spin on the heel, bringing the toes back, facing forward. Bend the knees and step out of it. Okay, you can wiggle that out a little bit. All right, and then we're going to get ready to step back into our wide-legged stance. So when you're ready, stepping it out. Right toes are going to keep pointing forward. We're going to lift the ball of the left foot again, spinning on the heel, pointing the toes to the wall beside you. Pelvis goes off on a little bit of an angle. Exhale to bend the knee. Watching that it's not collapsing inward. Arms come up through center. And again, right arm now can reach for the ceiling. Left can come down to the thigh, hinging at the hip here. So see how I'm on this nice straight line down my side body, hip, and leg. You can bring the slower by bringing forearm to thigh or fingers to floor. You can look up towards the raised hand. Again, it can be here, on your waist, or bicep along your ear. Bring that hand back to the waist. Bring the forearm, hand back up to your thigh. Straighten that knee. Spin on the heel. Bring the toes back to center. And step it out. All right. So that was just a really quick little practice. It's a way that you can incorporate some mobility, some stretching, and some strengthening into your day in just a matter of minutes with 3 postures that all lend to each other really well. None of them have to be done really deep. None of them have to be held really long. You could even just do the pulsing part to strengthen and forget about extended side angle if you need to for now. But that just gives you some ideas of how you can play around with these positions, and it doesn't need to be time consuming. All right, I'll see you next week.